I was listening to the story about, there was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the cowboy man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing tonight? I am Wayne, your host, joined as always by my partner in crime, the lovely and talented Miss Tiffany. How you doing tonight, ma'am?
I'm so freaking excited for the show. Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about it all day.
What are you excited about in particular?
Hearing stories from Australia, and if I'm going to be honest, I love the accent, and I so wish I could imitate it like I do British, but I can't, and I just sound idiotic. So I'm like, I don't even try.
Yeah, well, to be honest, there are a couple of reasons to be excited about tonight. The guy we have backstage is just an absolute favorite of my illustrious co-host over on That Bigfoot podcast, Mr. Brian King Sharp. I think he does a pretty good Australian accent. Let's find out. Brian.
Good day, mate.
Say something in Australian.
Good day, mate.
Damn, I was talking you up and you didn't. That's the best you got?
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, put your ass in it. Put your ass in it, Brian. Go. Crikey.
Crikey, mate. Hey, I mean, I can talk really, really fast like Jeremy does sometimes when he leaves us voicemails and he gets wound up. But yeah, I mean, good day, mate is like, it's like the regular, yeah. It's
there you go.
Getting a little sus on you, mate. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's probably like, what is it like? Yeah. It's like Sunday.
I needed more than 4 words to really get the effect. So yeah, I appreciate that. Brian, what's up, buddy? How you doing tonight? I'm so glad that you could catch you a nap today and come and hang out with us.
Yeah, man, I'm burning the midnight oil. I mean, who is this Charlotte J says, who is this Brian guy? I don't know. It's kind of weird to have him over here. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a douche.
I've heard that about him. I really have. I mean, you have to. It's like the king of all douches in podcasting. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, well, those of you out there that listen to, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, that listen to That Bigfoot podcast, hopefully it's everyone that's out there that's watching right now. You have heard us. Brian, the gentleman that is backstage, Mr. Jeremy, he calls us and leaves us voicemails from time to time, and we absolutely love it. He gets worked up, F-bombs start flying, and that Australian accent that is just priceless. So been talking to Jeremy on Instagram a little bit and decided to have him come and visit us from the future, no less. It's Mother's Day where he's at. He's already celebrating Mother's Day. So yeah,
and that's just the coolest thing. That's just the coolest thing.
been talking to Tiffany all day about kind of swinging the show that way. If you want to talk to someone from the future, we're talking to a time traveler tonight.
I was
Come and
like,
hang out with
man,
us.
yeah, like that is the greatest hook ever.
Yeah, let's ask him. Does he have the lottery numbers, dude?
That's
Maybe he has
all
the
I
lottery
need to know.
numbers.
Just give me
I
some
know.
lotto numbers and I'll be good, bro. I will move over there to Australia and be your neighbor. All right, Tiffany, let's pay some bills so we can
Okay.
get Mr. Jeremy out. If anyone out there, if you guys are new to the show tonight, we are glad to have you. Please take a second and hit that subscribe button. Help Tiffany and myself continue to grow this channel.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and myself, you can reach out to both of us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. We are booking into July, so keep that in mind when you go to schedule with us.
Want to ask everybody to please head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out our website that Mr. Brian has done such an amazing job building. You can show some love to all the other shows under the studio umbrella: Sasquatch Odyssey, That Bigfoot Podcast, the Basement Hangout. Those guys are pretty cool. Kentucky X-Files, they're all right too. True Crime Odyssey as well. Pick you up some merch. We would enjoy that immensely.
If you have any questions for tonight's guest, which I'm sure you will, and we love that when you are so interactive with us, just put it in all capital letters and we will snatch it up and ask them at the end.
I don't know what just happened there, what that noise was, but we will
Yeah,
get
I don't
through
either.
it. All right, lastly, before we get going, we are still doing our members giveaway. We're just a few away, guys. I haven't looked to make sure of an exact number, but it's single digits, like 5 maybe, away from doing this giveaway. Once we hit 50 paid members, those of you that would like to pay $1.99 a month to become a member, we will put your name in a drawing as soon as we hit 50, and that person will win a Yeti lunchbox, an autographed copy of one of Naomi Finn's books, an autographed copy of The Unfamiliars by Miss Tiffany herself, and a Paranormal Odyssey t-shirt. So, yeah, only a few spots left, and we hope that you guys will take advantage of that. All you got to do, go to the channel right beside the subscribe button. You will see join. Click that join button, and you are in.
How about I do this? I'll throw in an autographed copy of my new book, Sasquatch Unleashed: The Truth Behind the Legend. If you guys want to sign up and help Tiffany and Wayne out, I will autograph a copy of the book and throw it in for the drawing as well. So,
Oh, that's
Look
so
at
cool.
that.
Thank you.
That is very cool of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Wayne,
So,
now
yeah.
you got to change the picture again, buddy.
Got to change that damn picture again.
sorry about it. Sorry about it.
It'd be all right. It'd be all right. All right. But yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that very, very much. So, guys, take advantage of that. It would be nice if we could get those filled tonight. I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah. And as always, the super stickers are open. You guys have been helping Tiffany and I out so much lately. Told you we have hit that pay mark each of the last 3 months, and we're only like $40 away from doing it again this month. So you guys want to help us out with that again, we would appreciate it. But you guys are awesome. We thank you for everything that you do.
Yes.
All right, Brian, help us out, buddy. Tell us a little bit about what you know about Jeremy, because you have talked to him before. You've interviewed him on Sasquatch Odyssey, right?
Yeah, I've had him on, and he's had some really interesting experiences over there with what he believes to be Bigfoot, Yowie, I guess the Australian version of what we believe to be Sasquatch, Bigfoot over here. And I love his approach to it because he's very level-headed. He doesn't go out thinking everything's Bigfoot. He kind of questions his own evidence. He sends me messages all the time about what he's finding and lets me take a look at it and say, what do you think? Do you think I'm crazy? And he's found some really cool pictures. I know you guys have some pictures that he sent you tonight of some things that really look compelling, of what appear to be footprints and things like that. And I'm excited for people to hear his stories because they're really compelling, because most people say, there's not any Bigfoot in the UK. There's nothing in Australia. It can't be possible. Well, not if you talk to somebody like Jeremy. I mean, he really convinced me that, and some of the other people I've talked to in the UK have convinced me that there may be something over there that we may not understand exactly. So I'm excited for you guys to talk to him and hear his stories. And again, you can't beat the accent, dude. I mean, he's a ball of energy. The accent is there, and he's our people. You say it all the time on that Bigfoot podcast. Jeremy really is our people. So I'm stoked that you guys have him on.
Well, we could not have done it any better than that. So let's just do it and get Mr. Jeremy out. Jeremy, what's up, buddy? How you doing from the land down under?
Welcome from the future. Firstly, sorry, Brian, I don't have the numbers because I'd have it myself by now because we can buy your tickets over here. So I can't get you the numbers, sorry.
Not a problem, my friend. Not a problem.
And if I did have it,
Alright.
we'd all be traveling to Alaska right now to go see Fred and have a look down there, out there. Eh?
Yeah, because Jeremy, you're the one that offered to fund the movie that we're
Absolutely.
going to be shooting if you hit that
Yep.
lottery. So, man, I can't wait to shoot a movie on your dime.
I can't wait to see it.
Well, you're going to be in it. You have to be in it, man.
Yeah, I'll be the pilot, the owner that flies in then maybe or something.
Yeah,
Hey,
there you go. Very cool. Very cool. All right, Jeremy, tell us for those out there that haven't heard you on Sasquatch Odyssey, if there are any out there, tell us a little bit about how you got your start. What got you interested in Australia's version of Bigfoot?
I think it was like most people. You'd hear about Bigfoot and you'd see the typical Paddy film or just a picture, the side on, stride. Just seeing that as a kid, I was like, oh, cool. Maybe there's one of them running around Australia somewhere, all out through the bush. It was like anyone, you thought, oh, there's just one. And then just getting older, hearing more and more stories, and then coming past, obviously, the Yowies over here. And the Indigenous talk about them a lot in their history and in their mythology, as I was saying quotes now, because obviously I've experienced enough to know that there's more than just myth going on and why they would paint these beings on their rock walls and in caves. And so from that, just slowly getting into the subject more, even after seeing, I think it comes with the territory, seeing UFOs and stuff in life, which we're going to talk about, and even paranormal things to do with ghosts, because I was definitely awake when it happened, even though massive lucid dreaming. And I've had, I think, one part out-of-body experience. It wasn't a dream because it was a bit too real than what the dreams I usually have are. And then just, researching like that and realising, holy shit, there's thousands of people just in Australia reporting seeing these giant, hairy ape-human hybrids, however you want to see them, creature or being. The Indigenous here call them beings. They don't call them animals or creatures. They're an ancient being. So, just getting into that and going, holy crap, like there's actually something to this. So, love going in the bush, love hiking. So, let's go have a look.
Yeah, very cool. I definitely want to talk about these dreams that you're talking about. Dreams really, really interest me, and that's new to me. I didn't know that you had some of those to talk about. But first off, let's show these prints that you've been getting. First, we'll show just the actual print in the ground, and then we're going to show the cast. So what can you tell us about this print?
So that print I found it was 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I went out early to my research area, which is a national park with heaps of hiking trails around this little, where they used to mine gold, but they never really found anything there. There was just heaps of blokes going out there in the 1800s. And this is where actually he's a scientist. I won't say his name because even he keeps it quiet on the video that you can watch about Bellbird Grove Yowie. And he had a sighting one day in the height of COVID and saw two of them in the creek, and it actually yelled at him and he ran away. But you can go and look that up at Bellbird Grove on YouTube, and you'll see that with the two cartoon-looking Yowies depicted there. But this is the area where I started researching because of that. And after I found prints before, but this is one of the most compelling that I've found out there now. And it was early in the morning, just having a look at the usual areas around the creek where I've found prints and impressions before. And I this from across the creek, so I trudged through the water. I tried to rock hop a bit and instantly went, that's a kid's footprint. But hang on, it's not a kid's footprint because it's too wide. Look at the big toe, and trying to convince myself, no, it's just a kid. There's heaps of kids that play here and build rock structures, blah, blah. But the thing that got me was there was no print leading up or leading away from it. I think there was one other slight impression that matched it, but it was 1.5 meters away. And if that's a kid, if he jumped to there, you'd see a big skid. Like Brian said, I'm very emotional about this. You just can't have Bigfoot on the brain all the time. Everything's, oh, did you hear that? That big metal bird going over? That's a fucking Yowie flying that. You just can't have it with everything. So looking at it, I didn't cast it instantly when I saw it. I explored up the creek more and ended up finding 4 others, I believe, that match the exact same shape. But of course, there's only the one and no trackway. And this is 400 meters up a creek, like half a K, where you need boots, snake gaiters so you don't get bitten, because I'm always seeing snakes there, and because there's plenty of life, heaps of frogs for anything to feed on. And you just would not let your kid go there. But as I've said before, humans are messy. We will turn our feet. What was that? Turn your feet and stomp and scuff around. These tracks that are prints that I'm finding are just one singular print and a perfect deep impression the whole way around. So I ended up casting it when I came back that day, and even had to cover it up with leaves as these hikers, we'll say they're grey nomad hikers, both walking poles and everything, slowly down the descent and waterline that far away, putting the hiking pole right through my fresh cast. And I'm just like, don't say anything just in case.
Yeah, you talk about the width of it, and that picture, this picture right here, one we just showed, does not do it justice. I'm about to put up the cast that you took, and my impressions when you sent this to me was, holy shit, that's a fat foot.
Yeah, especially that's not a miscast. That's actually the big toe at the top there. It goes that wide and fat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought when I dug it out.
I haven't looked at and compared supposed Yowie cast to North American Bigfoot cast, but I've never seen a North American Bigfoot cast that wide at the toes and the balls behind the toes. And I don't know, is that, Jeremy, is that a characteristic that is common in Yowies, or do you know?
I think it's just like anything, how we all have, none of us have uniform feet, even humans. I think it's just the same thing, how you guys were talking about, saying that's not what Bigfoot looks like, his eyes are different, blah, blah. Like, I honestly think just like, even some, like in dogs, you get staffies and you can tell which one's which because they've got slightly wider, slightly narrower head or anything. So I think it's just like that in any part of the animal kingdom or in life, where even though it's the same species, they're meant to look pretty identical, everyone just has their own slight differences. So that's what I got from it, that, oh, this little fella's either got to grow into his toe or that's it for the rest of it now. But we do have the other type here, so apparently we've got 3 types. So the big ones up north, which are the Quincan, that are like 12 foot tall. The Yowie, which are the regular Yowies, that I think 9 foot, 9 to 10 foot. And then what's called Jundi or Junjiri, and we call them brown jacks, and they're the smaller one to get 5 6 foot max. So this could either be a Junjiri footprint, if that's the case. It could be a juvenile or something, but I feel like the area that I fit in is more or less a little nursery or a day area stage, just from my experiences that I've had.
Yeah. Now, just to get off subject real quick, I'm sorry. Are you guys out there noticing the static? Are you hearing that static in Jeremy's voice, Brian?
Yeah, I was just sending you a private message. It sounds like it's really choppy for whatever reason while he's talking. I was making sure it just wasn't on my end. I'm definitely hearing it.
No, we were hearing it before you came on. We were all backstage chatting, and he had headphones in, and we had him take them out to see if that was a problem. And I thought it was, but it's not. I don't know.
Was it better with the headphones?
Might be. You might can try.
I think it was, yeah, in my opinion, it was better with the headphones. It was just a slight bit of static in it, but
Jeremy,
you were.
Yep.
Wayne, go into your settings and look on his. I don't have the ability to check his mic because I'm on your StreamYard. Make sure he doesn't have the automatic volume checked. Just make sure it's echo cancellation, and if he's got the auto volume checked, turn that off, and that might help. I don't know if that's part of the problem. Sometimes it'll do that if it's on.
Okay, I'm trying to look at his solo layout. No.
Just go to his 3 little 3
background noise echo cancellation. Should I cut that off?
Yeah, if the echo cancellation's on, that's fine, but does he have automatic adjustment on the volume checked?
No.
Okay. Yeah, maybe try turning the echo cancellation off and see if that'll make a difference.
Okay. Yeah, sorry guys, audience out there. Sorry to you, Jeremy, to interrupt, but we want everyone to be able to hear. Jeremy, say something, buddy. You're muted.
You're muted. I'm rubbing off on people, Wayne. It's awful.
He's muted.
He's trying to fix it.
I don't have him muted.
Muted.
There
you
you
go.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It muted itself. I mean, my headphones were trying to take over.
Okay. Yeah, we can't tell just yet. Maybe we can tell once we get going. But the poll question tonight, I didn't get to. I didn't let you guys know about. But our poll question tonight is, pretty common. Is there a Bigfoot / Yowie UFO connection? Because we're bringing Jeremy on tonight to talk about his Yowie research as well as the UFO stuff that he's been experiencing. Real quick, Jeremy, what is your opinion on that? Do you think there's a connection between Yowie / Bigfoot and UFOs?
Look, I'm open to anything with experiencing it myself, but at the moment I'm probably partial on it, just neutral on the whole thing, because I've never, like, my UFO and Yowie experiences are completely separated. I think all that sort of woo and strangeness, but I can't say that I would. Like I said, I'm open to it, but I don't think they're, from my experience and what I've heard, that there's a connection between aliens and UFOs, unless we're talking about Anunnaki coming in and splicing DNA maybe, and who knows.
Yeah. Jeremy, are your headphones on right now?
Like, do you have your Bluetooth
No.
on your computer? Because it sounds like they're trying to connect while you're talking. I think that's part of the problem that we're having with the audio. Because it's worse now.
Just turn the Bluetooth off.
It's
Okay, the Bluetooth's off now.
Okay.
I think that was the problem.
I wonder if that's going to be
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Is that better now? Is it?
I mean, it only happens when you're like in like a long talk, like just 2 or 3 words. We can't tell. Like when you're speaking sentences and stuff, it starts to really break up and get real staticky. We actually couldn't hear any of your answer to whether or not UFO and Bigfoot were connected. So if you don't mind repeating it.
And I promise we're not making you repeat it because we like the way you talk.
But you listen just after anyway. In Australia, I don't think that there is.
Jeremy, real quick, that's even worse.
You go, sorry.
I don't know what to do. Brian,
I think we should try.
Worst case scenario, he may have to reboot his computer with the Bluetooth off and see if that'll correct the problem, because it's definitely going to be an issue, I think. So,
Tiffany, what were you saying?
I was going to say if he could see if maybe wearing his headphones, because we didn't have an issue with his headphone. It was just that slight static.
Well, again, I hate that all this is happening. Jeremy, if you would go completely out and then come back in, because maybe that will reset everything. Yeah, just leave your Bluetooth off, but go out and come back in if you don't mind, please. Now he's frozen.
Yeah.
Tech means technical issues. It always happens, folks.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it unless you're live. That's the thing. It's like live television. It can always go wrong.
Yeah. If we're doing a recorded interview, we can usually fix this stuff, but we've had a good run, haven't we, Tiffany? We haven't been having any technical issues.
We have. I mean, I'm lagging now, so if I disappear, I'm going to try not to freeze on some idiotic, dumbass face. No promises. Exactly.
It's got something to do with these storms. That's why we can see the northern lights here in North Carolina.
Exactly.
We were able to see the northern lights the last 2 nights because of something going on with the sun. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I didn't know that. But we
Yeah.
got Jeremy back. Were you able to go out and come back
So-
in, buddy?
Were
Go out and come back
So-
in, buddy?
Yeah, does that sound any better?
No. What is going on? I do
That
not
is
understand
weird.
this.
Hmm.
I mean, it's to a point where
I might. Do you want me to leave the chat and come back?
yeah, go completely out.
Mhm.
Everything. Close
Yep.
out. Maybe even cut your phone off and then back on.
Nope.
Is,
He
is,
said,
is he on his phone
He's
instead of
on
a,
his phone.
Yeah.
and he's using Chrome on his phone?
I mean, that's usually what I do when I had to use my phone and learn something new tonight. Because normally when we have people on with their phone, you got those black bars on the side.
Mhm.
But you notice he didn't. And
Right.
how he doesn't is he turned his phone sideways.
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
eliminated those black bars. So
Yeah.
that's what
Well,
we
I guess we can just talk amongst ourselves. What are you guys talking about in the chat? I've been trying to keep up with the chat, and
ain't no
Make
way.
yeah,
sure
the
you-
chat was rolling there for a minute.
I was trying
They're
to make sure
talking about,
everywhere. So
talking about geomagnetic storms.
Who?
yeah, there's
How
something
they're-
going on with, I don't know what the storms are with the sun or whatever, but we were asleep last night and had no idea, but we woke up this morning to a bunch of people posting. The northern lights were quite visible. I mean, it wasn't just like this fluke thing. I mean, it was really visible here in North Carolina, particularly in the area we're in here near Lenore last night. And it's supposed to happen again, but of course it's raining here. It's rained every day because it's still moist where we are.
The moistness. It was cold
Oh.
here though today because I was complaining about the humidity and how it was soupy. So I was like, okay, we'll make it 45 degrees then.
Yeah, it was 43 here when we woke up this morning. It was nice. We had the windows open and it was good stuff. So
That was freezing.
So this may be a very stupid question, and I'm sure it is, but what are the northern lights? I've heard people talk about them. You got to be up, like in Alaska, you can see them maybe, or I mean, what are they?
that's a good question. I don't really know what they are.
Hold on, I'm the researcher.
Horses.
My name is now Velma, and y'all are Fred and Shaggy.
Let's
Y'all-
go,
y'all
Belms.
Go, Velma. Tell us what the northern lights are, Velma. Explain it.
I just want to be correct when I tell you. Like, I do a good enough job of making myself sound like an idiot. So,
The proper
see.
name for them is the Aurora Borealis. I do know that much. As
it
the
is a natural light display in Earth's sky. Well, duh. Hold
Well, it's
on.
something to do with the Earth's magnetic field. It redirects particles towards the poles, and you're able to
Yes,
see.
the northern lights are created when energized particles from the sun slam into Earth's upper atmosphere at speeds of up to 45 million miles per hour. But our planet's magnetic field protects us from the onslaught. We just get a pretty light show.
There you go. So clearly, there's something going on that has allowed them to be seen farther south. I mean, clearly, we're in about as far south as you can go here in the southern United States, in North Carolina. I don't know where else they're able to be seen, but I mean, it's some pretty dramatic pictures that people were posting from yesterday and last night. So,
Well, let's ask Jeremy. Jeremy, have you ever seen the northern lights?
No, I can't see it in Queensland where I'm at. It's in Tasmania. Is it doing it again?
Yeah.
It was just for a minute.
I can tell
just for
they
a
are. Maybe if I talk slower.
we'll be here until it's 12 o'clock tomorrow for us, but you can talk slower. Are you in a different place? I think you're in a different place in your house than when I talked to you before. Is your internet stronger in a certain area of the house, maybe, that you could possibly go to? I don't know.
Possibly.
I'm grasping.
I'll shift quickly and just see if it's better there. Give me 2 seconds. You can walk with me. Here you go.
Okay.
We'll just see if it's
One.
We're getting a
Two.
tour of Jeremy's house.
Jeremy's daughter has been under the weather, so I know she's napping. I hope we don't interrupt her. Fun fact, Jeremy's daughter is 5 days older than my daughter.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And fun fact, Jeremy's much younger than you.
Much.
I couldn't resist.
Just
12
I could-
years. What
that
you
any
got,
better?
Jeremy? What's up?
How's that?
I don't know. Recite.
Say Mary had a little
Really?
lamb.
Recite some
Mary
Shakespeare.
had little- G'day, mate. I'm from Australia. Nice to talk to you guys. Hopefully you can hear me properly.
It's better than it was.
Okay.
It just means Wayne's gonna have to do his job and edit. It'll be fine.
I don't know how I can edit that.
I'm good. I don't know if I'm that good.
Brian is much better than me, but I don't know how you can actually form words in the editing.
Yeah, right.
Well,
That's
see,
where you
that's
guys are the
better.
experts.
All right, we'll try to push on, and if it doesn't get better, I mean, I don't know what the options are, because there's no point in doing it if the people can't hear the person that they're here to hear. So we'll try to continue. We'll give it our best. Jeremy, what's been going on with the UFO stuff, buddy?
So the main encounter or sighting I had was probably 7 years ago, and I was just washing my car at 10:30 in the morning. It was a pretty clear day. There weren't heaps of clouds in the sky, enough to like just a nice, beautiful day. And it was like how people say you get that feeling. And I just instantly looked up, and 200 meters away, so it was in front of the clouds, so it was very close. There was this black orb, or like more like an oval shape rather than a sphere, just slowly cruising. I was like, what? What is that? I had polarized sunglasses on, so I took them off and I couldn't see it anymore. And I was literally just like, what the hell? Put them back on, and there it was straight away. So I focused on it when I had my sunnies on, took them off, and I could see exactly where it was, and it had this perfectly mirrored surface around the whole thing to where it was reflecting everything around it, so it looked invisible. And I was just like, well, don't think that's one of ours. We can do that, or that we're told. And it a little bit breezy, but it wasn't like a balloon or anything getting blown around. It was about the size of a regular hack, maybe a bit bigger, and it just cruised out. Watched it for like 20 minutes, just slowly cruise out to the national park.
At 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I was just washing my car, and I didn't even necessarily have the urge to look up. It was like my head just went boom, and I looked directly at it where it was, which is really strange.
It does seem strange. I mean, why is it that I automatically assume that most UFOs sightings are at night? Brian, you had one when you were younger. Was that daytime or nighttime?
It was at night, and the one that I experienced last October up in Radium, those were at night, but I have seen what I consider to be UFOs and or UAPs a couple of times during the day. So quite a few people actually that actually look up and look for these things see them during the day. Honestly, I think probably the majority of them, I would say, are probably during the day versus night.
Well, I think if people get their noses out of their phone and actually look up, they will see a lot more and realize it. But yeah, like the squid one that looked like the octopus floating in the sky, that was during the day.
Yeah.
So
now, Jeremy, you were telling me about you've got a buddy, or I guess a mate, as you would call him, that has had an encounter. Was that similar to this one? Same location or near, or what happened?
No, it was him at his parents' house down in Greater Australian Bight, which is down in the southern end of the country, and it's in an open, barren area. They said they heard this humming when they were inside the house, this weird humming. So they went outside, and that's near the horizon was the black triangle, which I think people call it now TR3B. And they said it just slowly cruised over the top of the house and then stopped. And they were looking up at it, and it was massive. He said they couldn't believe what was going on because it was just this real weird hum, this giant craft above them. But they reckon they could see spots where cars could have driven in, like little hangar bays and stuff. And then it just slowly cruised off, and they thought, oh, it's been, looking at it 5-10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, when they went inside, it had been like 2 hours, which is really odd because apparently, well, that to me, that's just like a gravity thing because time and everything shifts when you're opposing gravity. But that was his encounter. I was like, that's crazy. Drone pilot as well.
Yeah. I mean, I have had no experiences with UFO. I know Brian has had the one or a couple now, including the one in Radium. Tiffany, have you ever had an experience?
I have not experienced UFO or orbs, so I can't speak on that.
Okay, Brian, this might be something that if you have any questions for Jeremy regarding the UFOs, that might be a good time.
Yeah, I'm just curious if beforehand you had any inkling about UFOs. Were UFOs even on your radar before you had your experience and actually got to see one? Was it something you were interested in, or anybody in your family? Because that tends to be one of those things that I found typically with UFOs and UAPs is people in their family have experienced these things before, or you started experiencing the same thing when you were younger and maybe didn't even realize what you were looking at.
Yeah, look, as we all do, we stargaze, and I've seen a shitload of things that we're told are satellites, but when they start going boop and then up and then down, the satellites can't do that. And so before that major daylight sighting, I saw just stargazing one night out here, keeping an eye on a star and seeing it flicker a bit, just a stationary star, and it was getting brighter, and then it got really bright as if something was coming into the atmosphere, and then it just went like down to a little point and then started going across the sky like a satellite. I was like, well, that's like there's something going on with that stuff. And just seen a lot to do with that, where it's just like going around everywhere. Satellites don't do that. Obviously, I was super interested in when I was a kid into movies. My sister was a big horror, so she was into UFO movies and stuff, and that was really cool. But that's, yeah, like you, I've seen a lot at nighttime as well. Just we look at it and go, that doesn't make sense. And satellites don't have tails where there's two little another one right behind it, but it's slow, like angling and moving. Like they just don't do it.
Yeah. Just to touch on the poll question again, is there a Bigfoot / Yowie UFO connection? We are actually at 6. It's better or not. It's different than what I thought. 67% say no, which is where I would lean. I would think that number would be higher.
I'm at the same. I haven't heard. I think it's the same in Australia as it is in America, where either you're more in the woo or you're more in the flesh and blood. But you're open to everything, because I think we need to look at everything to really get the answers to the questions we're asking. But I haven't experienced anything say the UFOs are directly linked. They're doing this to them. They contact each other and blah blah blah. So I'd be more on the that they're not linked. Not that I'm opposed to it.
So would you say, Jeremy, that you are open to woo, or are you more biological?
I'm open to. I'm probably more biological at this stage from what I've researched and encountered, but I'm definitely open to woo. It's like with my dream stuff that I've experienced and out of body. They're out there. Like there's more in your head than you're told.
Yeah, that static is back, and I hate it because I've been looking forward to this interview for so long.
Long.
Got more stuff. I want to talk to you about these dreams and talk about paranormal stuff. But again, it seems every time you open your mouth, start to talk, the static takes over. You prove me wrong. And I just don't know what we can do at that point, because there's people can't hear you. That's what
it's the link. Maybe I don't know, because I'm in the room with my internet modem now. If I keep it shorter, which is going to be tricky.
StreamYard's fault.
At this point, what we've got so far, I don't even think I could release the podcast, Brian.
Yeah, probably not. It's really, really choppy, and sometimes it's every third word. So it really sucks. I don't know. It's a little bit, I can see it in your picture as well on the video, is kind of, I guess last ditch effort, we could probably try to turn the video off on his end, Wayne, and maybe it'll save a little bandwidth.
I did think about that. If you don't mind turning off your camera
and trying that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm kind of out of options at this point. I don't really know.
Yeah. So
It might be because of the aurora going on around us. Who knows?
That was perfect. I mean,
I know. See, that was good.
Well, there you
I
go.
don't jinx it. I don't want to jinx
Do you want me
it,
to
but
get a
yeah,
quick screenshot of my smiling so you can just leave that up?
Now, I think we'll just keep going like this, buddy. If it
Yep.
continues to work, let's try this. Let's have you talk a little bit about those dreams that you were talking about, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it runs in my family, the whole weird lucid dreaming every night. Is it not working again?
No, it's doing
Nope.
the same
It's
thing.
starting.
Oh,
It's
we
starting.
thought we had it.
I know. Dang it.
Suggestions,
Well, the
Brian?
dreams do run in the family.
No, look, he's
Yeah, keep going, Jeremy. Just
Yeah,
it
that
sounds
was good.
Um, Yeah, so I pretty much dream every single night. Nightmares were very prevalent as a kid until I got sick of being scared, so you had to just adapt and roll with the punches inside your dreams. But when I started getting a lot about alien stuff as well, even before in a lot of movies, it was getting a bit like, shit, am I reliving another life? Am I viewing something through someone else's eyes? Because the one that I had that was more like an out-of-body experience, I went up but come out of my body in my room, everything was dark, and then instantly my consciousness shifted to outside in the backyard, and there standing was a tall grey looking at an orb of light in his hand as if it was a map. And then he looked up and realised, what are you doing there? Like, how can you see me? And in my head, like, no words were spoken, but it was all like telepathic. And in my head, I was pretty much like, you're not welcome here. You shouldn't be here. And he freaked out, jumped on the shed, and like I floated up and chased him, and all of a sudden woke up back in my body like nothing had happened. And usually I'm quite exhausted the next day because my brain never rests completely. I'm just lucid dreaming with the REM sleep.
Yeah, we were able to hear most of that, but it was really, really choppy, like it has been. I want to have you back, man, but
Absolutely. I'm annoyed because I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, man. I stayed up late for this shit.
Yeah.
I know. He took a nap for you, Jeremy. He took a nap for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude.
There's a new shirt. I took a nap for you.
Yeah, I took a nap.
Yeah, we'll make that merch. I took a nap to be here.
That's awesome. Is that already a shirt? If not, it should be.
Yeah, if it's not,
Yeah,
I'm right.
absolutely.
I'm gonna have it. We're gonna trademark that tomorrow.
Yes. My God.
Yeah, generally the only thing I see with that is I put my book down to be here, but I've never seen I be here.
That's a great t-shirt idea. I took a nap to be here. That's great.
Last ditched effort, Wayne. I don't know how far you want to take this because you're almost 45 minutes in. You can always have him just call in and see if his cellular audio, I don't know if that would work for him. I don't even know what kind of cellular stuff. I don't want him to have a $700 cellular bill for calling in or whatever, but
yeah,
I don't know if that would even work, but I mean,
I don't know how that would work either. And that's the reason, because Jeremy and I have been talking over Instagram mostly, and I don't get notifications for some. Y'all know me, my damn phone. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't get notifications half the time. But Jeremy will send me a message like 3 days later before I look at it because I'm never on Instagram. So I wanted to ask him, like, is there a way we could text? But him being in Australia, me here, I mean, I don't know how that works.
Maybe Facebook Messenger. If he's got Facebook, he could even do a messenger call and do voice. I don't know. I'm just I'm spitballing here because I really want people to hear what Jeremy has to say. And I haven't even talked to him about his UFO and his lucid dreaming stuff. So I was stoked to hear about it as well. But it is what it is. Technology.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Yeah, fucking thing.
Well, I mean, you can cut your camera back on, Jeremy, if you want to, so we can look at you. There he is.
Raise that so we can look at your face, mate.
Yeah, there you go, mate.
Jeremy, if you're open to coming back, because like Brian said, we're 50 minutes in almost now. If you're open,
Yeah,
to
absolutely,
coming
man.
back, and there's a way that we can call, that you can call me,
Yep.
then we can do it that way. It's just the only thing is you'd only be able to hear me. You wouldn't be able to hear
Yeah, that's right.
them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'd still be here. I can still control the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm here in spirit, buddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're okay
Yeah.
with that,
Was there any problem when I went on with you, Brian?
No, it was
Yeah.
fine.
Was it StreamYard we used? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it could, I mean, as we're all joking, but it really could have something to do with what's going on in the atmosphere at this point. There is something clearly going on with the Aurora Borealis and all those things. So, I mean, it could be just electromagnetic stuff that's causing interference that wasn't there before. And it is a long way away. So, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's
that's kind of cool for the subject, eh?
It's the government, damn it. They don't want you to talk about
invasion.
It's a conspiracy theory. It's somebody from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base that's blocking the signal right now where all the Bigfoot are taken when they're capturing them out. It's always
mass collection of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we'll do then. We will try to set up another, I don't even want to call it a round 2, around 1.2 or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But and maybe we'll call in and see how that works. Maybe everything will be working better by then, and we will try to not push you until July. We'll take one of the Saturdays that we have off. And try to do it. But of course, it has to line up with your schedule as well. But we'll talk after the show and set something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Why is it all?
I can't promise I'll take another nap, but I might. I don't know.
Please do, Brian.
Jeremy, you take care of yourself. Take care of that little girl too. I know she's not feeling well. You and your wife haven't been feeling well either. I hope you guys get to feeling better, and we will talk again soon. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry this has all happened.
That's fine, buddy. We'll make it up.
It's okay.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Bye.
Well, that sucks.
That absolutely sucks. We even talked this up on that Bigfoot podcast, Brian.
I know, man. It's weird that we can't solve the problem in some way, but I mean, sometimes it happens. And again, I think it could have something to do with the fact that there are some things going on atmospherically that, you know, he's clearly got a issue with his connection, so that he didn't have when he was on my show back.
Yeah, and he didn't have it before we came on. He got on 30. He was on before Tiffany was. He got on here 30 minutes early. We usually have our guests come on 10 minutes early for sound checks and stuff. But he got on 30 minutes early, and there was no issues.
Well, damn, maybe you burned the 30 minutes. You should have saved it for the 30 minutes of him actually talking about his stuff, man.
It's all my
fault.
It always is.
Yeah, one job.
Oh, no, I was gonna say I was waiting on you to blame it on me because I'm here because everything was going perfectly, and then my ass showed up, and now Jeremy's.
It's because we had a fourth person. Damn it, Brian.
But if you really want to hear Jeremy, no, I'm just kidding. He was episode 411, I think, on Sasquatch Odyssey when he was talking about his Bigfoot stuff. But I'm stoked to hear about the UFO stuff. I had no idea about the lucid dreaming stuff. We hadn't even gotten into that or talked about that. So I was really stoked to hear that. So we'll get together. I will help you guys hopefully figure out the issue with his whatever the connection problem is. Like I said, we are professionals, ladies and gentlemen. We do figure this stuff out, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. I've had to trash entire hour plus long interviews. It happens. It just usually doesn't happen live for folks to see. So, but people are still in the chat. We've got people piling in and talking and talking themselves. And I mean, we're here. So, I mean, that's something, right?
So what you been doing, Brian?
Well, what had happened was
see what had happened.
I did have a really cool interview with some folks last night for Sasquatch Odyssey. I'd actually interviewed these guys months and months ago. Well, one of them and another guy, and then I've had the other one back, and they've done a couple of documentaries. And have you guys ever heard of Bradshaw Ranch?
No.
No.
It's similar to a Skinwalker Ranch situation. We're talking vortexes and portals and Bigfoot activity and all of this stuff going on. And they actually finished a documentary that's out now, and it is High Strangeness at Bradshaw Ranch, is a book and a documentary. And they were telling me some of the things that they had experienced, the portals and a lot of UAP stuff going on. And we got into this conversation about the connection with Bigfoot and portals and UFOs. And I just said, I have such a hard time drawing that parallel because I'm such a flesh and blood creature. And I said to Ron and Mark last night on the interview, I said, look, guys, why is it then, if you believe that there's this connection with portals and Bigfoot being interdimensional and having some UAP connection, why do people see them doing such mundane things? They're crossing the road, they're building structures, they're splashing around in creeks, fishing, they're chasing deer. They're not doing anything really out of the ordinary. They're just like any other animal. If they have this connection and they have this ability to do all these things because they're part of alien technology and maybe they're some sort of a drone for aliens, I don't know. People get into all kinds of stuff. But if that's the case, why is it that they're doing such mundane things? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I never really get a clear answer. They have some answers, and obviously you guys, when this will eventually air on Sasquatch Odyssey, everybody can tune in and see what they had to say, but I never really get a clear answer from anybody on that subject. And I still have a really hard time. I mean, even Jeremy, he calls in all the time and sends us stuff on that Bigfoot podcast, kind of poking fun at people who are really out there into the woo. But even he said, I'm open to that. So I think a lot of people are open to it. I'm open to it. I know Wayne, on at least some level, you maybe, and Tiffany might be, but I just have a really hard time going down that road because I'm such a flesh and blood believer. If these things do exist, that's just where I'm stuck, but I'm open to it. And I'm just curious as to people maybe in the chat that are open to those things. Why are we open to it? Right? Because that's one of the things I ask myself. Why am I so open to it if I think these things are flesh and blood? But ultimately, I think it boils down to the fact that we've been looking for these things for so freaking long. And I don't feel like we've gotten much closer to finding out any answers going down the flesh and blood path. Wayne and I, we talked about it recently. How many more foot castings can you look at, man? And how many more stick structures can you claim are attributable to Bigfoot? And eventually you just have to say, we're not really finding much evidence at this point. I mean, are they coming from somewhere else? Is there something more to them? Are they being dropped off by aliens and we're just like the doggy playpen where they go and do their business and then they pick them up later and take them home? I don't know, man. It fascinates me, but I'm curious as to people maybe in the chat or that are into that and open to that. Why are you into it? Why are you open to it? And what do you think the connection is? And why do you think it's they're usually seen doing some really mundane things versus you don't get a lot of cloaking stories. You don't get a lot of disappearing into portals. They're out there, but the majority of it's just really mundane stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, talking about the prints and the casts, I think we talked about this on that Bigfoot podcast. What's the point? What's the point in casting a print? Whenever we find a print now, other than it's cool, add it to our collection, what's the point? Because we have so many of them. How many does Dr. Jeff Meldrum have right now? How many does Cliff Brackman have right now? And what can they learn from a new one?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I told you, we talked about it on the show over on that Bigfoot podcast. I was there with Cliff in Ohio this past week, and we had these guys in real time bring in some cast that they had cast of, I think it was 4 prints in a row in a track line that they had just cast like a couple of days before that. And Cliff was pretty convinced that I've still got to post the video. I took a cool video of Cliff examining them, and I even got one of Matt Pruitt taking a look at them after Cliff looked at them. But I think it boils down to this. I think there is this feeling that every bit of evidence that we collect is adding to the kitty a little bit, right? I mean, I literally just ordered yesterday. I reached out to Michael Freeman. He's trying to get rid of his inventory on some of the casts that he has of some of his stuff that his dad cast. And I ordered 5 casts from him yesterday, and he's making the copies now and going to send them to me here in the next, I'll probably have them in another 10 to 15 days. I've got to cure and whatnot before they can transport it, but I'm ordering those because I want them for my collection, because I do think they're important. The Wrinklefoot cast, for example, is huge because we've learned a lot from that. I think it's one of the most interesting casts I have personally ever seen. And I have the cast that Cliff gave me last year. I think there's something to be gleaned from all the casts, but again, it goes back to why, why keep doing it? And I know people do it because they want to continue to push the ball down the field and gather evidence. And I do think that's important. But yeah, I too, like you, believe, and I've cast stuff on my property, and I'll continue to do that. If I find it in the future, I'm going to do that, because I think you just get to a point as a researcher and somebody who's really into the subject that you don't want to let that fall by the wayside, because it literally could be the next thing, right? You might cast a footprint or something that nobody's ever seen, and somebody might find some eDNA on it or whatever the case may be. So I get why people do it, but at some point, I think we have to move further down the road, and somebody's got to get some DNA or some really good video or some really good photographs or something of these things. I don't know.
Well, Naoma makes a great point. I'll get to you in just a minute, Tiffany. Let me share this real quick. Naoma made a great point. If we keep collecting tracks and we get enough of them, then we can compare and possibly identify same animal tracks. That will tell us a lot. If nothing else, it might give us a range of travel, which is a good point that I hadn't really considered. What were you saying, Tiffany?
I was just going to say, from the podcast that I've listened to, as far as Brian, your question, from what I have heard different people say, is the reason they carry on the flesh and blood attributes of a typical animal is, this person was saying, and they were one of several that I've heard say it, is the longer that they are in our quote unquote realm, the more flesh and blood attributes they have, or they acquire, or they have to do, as far as like eating. And that's when you see them cross the road, and but that seems to be the going answer when somebody is asked that question that I've heard.
Yeah, that seems to be explaining an enigma wrapped in a mystery and throwing some fog over the top of it. Because how do you explain? I mean, how do you know that, right? I mean, it's pure speculative to say, I think the more they're in our realm, the more they have to eat and poop and possibly procreate. And they like to cross roads after they've been here for 6 months. They do a road crossing, and then sometimes they do stick structures after about 8 months.
Yeah, they got a checkoff list.
Yeah, I don't really buy that. I honestly, nobody knows, and anybody who says anything like that to me it's just speculative. Like,
I mean, it all has to be speculative at this point, until Wayne hits one with his Jeep and throws it in the freezer,
And he's gonna have to be little.
If you do, call me, man. Call me. We'll get the protocol together.
Brian, I'm telling you right now, all kidding aside, the first phone call I make will be to you. I mean, the first.
It will be no call me maybe.
I mean, it'll be you and I discussing a game plan. That's what it'll be. And what that game plan is, I don't know. But also to talk about to kind of expand it a little bit, talking about the prints, as in why do we keep doing them? You can say the same thing for pictures and video. It doesn't matter, because 9 times out of 10, people are going to call you a fucking liar. That's not true. That's not real. You fake that. So what's the point in even trying to get pictures or video?
Well, I think again, it can do that for a lot of people. There are people who believe wholeheartedly in the Patterson Gimlin film. I just had Rich on the show. I interviewed Rich, it was probably 4 or 5 months ago. And he's from the UK. He's a former British soldier, maybe former, maybe still there. I don't really want to get into that, but Rich has been out to Area X multiple times, I think 5 or 6 times at this point, and he's had a ton of experiences. So I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to see him in the UK in July, and I hope that we're able to plan a trip out there at the end of the year to go to Area X, or at least the valley next door to Area X, because I guess it's public. I guess I'll just put it out there. Matt Pruitt and some of the other folks that have been, Daryl Collier, have left the NAWAC for whatever reason. I'll just leave it at that. So I don't know that I would have an inroad. I still know a couple of people that are in the NAWAC that go out to Area X that maybe could get me there, but at least I know I could get to the valley next door to where Area X is. And I'd love to do that this summer, because I want to go out there and possibly get some video and or audio and or pictures of these things. I mean, I'll share this with you guys. I haven't shared it publicly, but Rich sent me what I consider to be a fairly compelling photo of a Google Maps still of what looks like an ape walking through the woods on Google Maps that they captured one of his last trips. And I haven't talked to Brian Brown or well, Brian's not even in the NAWAC at this point, but I haven't talked to anybody in the NAWAC to make sure that it's okay with them that I share the photo, because I think it's sort of their intellectual property, and I just don't do that. If I have to reach out to somebody, I'm going to do that. But it's compelling. It's not anything that's definitive, but I think that, to me, it made me perk up and go, holy shit, that looks like a gorilla walking through the woods, and it's in Oklahoma. That's not supposed to be happening. So I do think that there's a place for pictures and videos and some of the castings of footprints. I think there's a place for all of that stuff. I just don't know at this point how much farther it's going to push the ball down the field, because there's always that thing in the back of our heads that say, is it fake? Because you can fake prints, you can fake video, you can fake audio, you can fake photographs. So I don't know. It's definitely ultimately going to take a body, but I know I'm not going to stop. I mean, we just did a camp out a couple of weeks ago here on our property, and I took recorders out there and kept recorders up all night just on the off chance that we experienced something weird. I wanted to be able to capture it and say, because the worst thing ever is to go out as a researcher into Bigfoot and say, I saw this, but I didn't take a picture. I saw this, I didn't get a video. I heard this, but I didn't have any audio, right? So
I've lived that.
Exactly. So I'm always aware of that, just for myself, first and foremost, and then to be able to come back and say to people who listen to the shows and are into what I do and the research that I do, to say, I did get this right. You know, I did capture this audio. It's weird, or I did capture this photograph, or I did see this footprint on my property or here, and I cast it, and this is what it is. I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot because I didn't see it or hear it, but this is what I got. So,
to answer Troy's question that's up right now, if I ever hit/find a Bigfoot, can I call y'all first? Please do. Please do. We will all work together and by getting it down the right avenues, right channels. We'll do our best to make it happen. I mean, that's a big if, but I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like we talked about. I mean, it's only going to be a matter of time. It has to be only a matter of time at this point. Seriously.
Yeah, and we're fortunate enough, because of the shows and the popularity of the shows, we've made enough inroads and have enough connections with people at this point. I am confident in the people that I know in this community that I trust wholeheartedly. We may not know exactly what to do, but we know who to call, in my opinion, to get it done in the way that I feel like it should be done. I trust enough people that are power players, if you will, if that's even a thing in Bigfoot, to get it done if that were to happen. So I'm confident that I would make the right phone calls and trust enough people that would do it in the right way and for the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, guys. The last 20 minutes of this show is fucking banger.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty good
Paranormal
stuff.
Odyssey collabing with that Bigfoot podcast. You won't get that anywhere else.
Collabing with Sasquatch Odyssey as well. I mean, hell, we got the
Yeah.
best of 3 worlds right there. All
Very
right.
cool.
I think that will do it for tonight. Brian, you got anything you want to add or talk about or plug or anything before we get out of here?
No, you guys support Wayne and Tiffany, become members, get a copy of my book signed by maybe me and Cliff. I've got some copies of me and Cliff signed, and I'll throw that into the bag. It's definitely worth it. It's an awesome prize thing. And if nothing else, just support them because of the things they do. They work hard at what they do. They do great stuff. So make sure you support them and keep them coming back over and over and doing these amazing shows and bringing you what you guys bring. So
Well, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much. And it was awesome for you to add that book to the list. Thank you very
Yes.
much for doing
Thank you
that.
very much.
Appreciate it.
glad to do it.
And we'll have to talk about this shirt. I took a nap to be here.
We're
We're going to make that happen. Yeah, it'll be on the website probably at some point in time tomorrow.
Amen, brother.
Tiffany, say your goodbyes, ma'am.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support and for always coming in here every Tuesday. Wait, it's Saturday. Every Saturday to hang out with us on these wonderful, wonderful evenings. We'll see you Tuesday.
Yep, we will. Thank you guys so very much. Again, sorry for the technical issues. Jeremy is awesome. We will get him back. You will get to listen to all the F-bombs and all that stuff that Jeremy is known for. He's a great dude, and I appreciate his patience and you guys' patience, and we will get him back. Please rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And yeah, continue to be you until we talk to y'all again. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.